Hello and welcome to Soul Love with Kimness. I am Kim van der Zande, your host, and I'm super excited to share another episode of Soul Love with you, where we share inspirational and empowering stories from the heart. We talk about the beauty and the shadows as both are part of the ascension journey, to remind you that you are powerful, you are magical, and to have trust in what you feel to be true deep within. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Before we start the next Soul Love conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, Activating the Flower of Love, a sacred guide for manifesting your deepest desires and highest calling. This sacred book, filled with powerful tools and activations, will guide you to open your heart to the beauty and wisdom within you, empowering you to create the life you deeply desire from the foundation of love. You can find Activating the Flower of Love in all the major online and offline bookstores in ebook or paperback, or you can check it out through my website, kimness.nl, where you can also discover the different ways of working with me and the latest updates on new starting programs. Enjoy this next episode of Soul Love. Welcome to a new episode of Soul Love, and I'm so excited to share sacred space with my beautiful soul sister, Metdenancxt. Welcome into this sacred space.
Okay, thank you very much for your invitation, Kim, and I'm really delighted to be part of your Soul Love podcast.
Thank you. It's so amazing. I know Katty already a couple of years now, and it's so beautiful also to see you grow and expand and glow in your mission and in what you're putting out into the world. And yeah, you're doing such beautiful work with children and with beautiful emotion codes. But I first wanted to go back to where it all started. What awakened for you in your awakening journey, in the mission where you are right now? Was it always in your vision, or was there something that sparked it? Or
Well, it all started, so my consciousness you can call it, journey started like when I was 18 years old. Mm-hmm. So my aunt is my most favorite aunt. Mm-hmm. She's very spiritual, so she was always interested in all kinds of spirituality. So at that time, we went like to big fairs, the spiritual fairs with like people reading your hands, reading the cards,
Yes.
So really that was my first step. And then, so always in parallel with my professional job in multinationals. So I've always worked in multinationals until 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. Yes. So I've always in parallel have always been interested in following my spiritual journey. So I learned Reiki, I learned reconnection, all kinds of energetic courses. Healing sessions, meditation workshops, so it was all going in parallel with my standard 3D life, yes.
And how was that to combine both? Because I know some of the listeners will be on that journey where they maybe, in a previous podcast, if someone shared, I'm a spiritual being in the weekends, and during the week I'm doing my normal job or my normal. But how was that for you? Because if you work in multinationals, most of the time it's very straightforward, and to then shift into that other space and
Yeah, well, at the beginning, I must say that my awakening wasn't that big, it started, it was like with baby steps. Then I followed my spiritual journey. So I was more like in the 3D world. I was more like, promotion here and promotion there, yes. So that was the mindset in that company. It was an American multinational. So that was really like the standard mindset in that company. And until a certain moment where I had a channeling. So somebody did a channeling for me. And I was asking questions, like 3D questions, like, oh, am I going to make promotion and career? You know, I was really like in that, you know, in that mindset. And then the guide or the master that she was channeling with, he said, no, you're not gonna make career in the 3D life. No. You're gonna make career on a spiritual path. And then I thought, how is this going to happen? I mean, I don't understand this, you know? Yes. Then at a certain moment, so I met my husband, I moved to Bruges, I followed several other courses in Bruges, and I felt like I started a new, but once my daughter was born, I worked again at a multinational, so so I changed jobs. Yeah. And then at a certain moment, I really felt like, well, I always had the feeling like, okay, I'm not fitting in this corporate world. I'm really not fitting in. No. And at a certain moment, I felt like, okay, I have so much more to give. I mean, to help people to feel good about themselves and to feel relaxed, because I mean, in parallel, I was doing meditation every evening. It was kind of ritual. Yeah. But during the day, so it was a ritual more to charge my batteries. Yes. You know, for the work I was doing. Yes. And for the people I was working with. I mean, okay, no, I mean, it were very kind people. Yeah. But like, I felt more and more, I felt drained in that world. Yes. So then at a certain moment, I had a burnout, because I had a very bad experience with a new boss who was a narcissist. So was really like, and at that moment, I mean, at the time that I was working with him, I already followed like coaching sessions, so career coaching, to see like, okay, with the spare time that I had at that moment, I was working part-time. So with the spare time that I had, what can I do with that time? I want to put into practice what I've learned all these years, what I feel that I want to share with people. Yeah.
But I think also an important, as you share, like an important awareness is already that you did meditations after your work in the evening to regenerate yourself, to be able to cope the day again. And I know a lot of the listeners will be in that pattern where they just need these higher vibrational energies to go through the day. And I think that's already a huge awareness piece. And it doesn't mean quit your job immediately, but it's searching within, and that's what you did. It's searching within, like, what is my next step asking me? But I'm wondering, because I never heard this story, how much time was between the reading almost and the time you decided to go and do something else and step into the beautiful mission you were on? Because I think also for people listening, sometimes we get these amazing readings, but in energy time or energy realms, there is no time. But sometimes in physical reality, it might take maybe a week or a month or maybe years. And then we can feel like, when is it going to happen? I know I need to do something else, but it's not sparking yet, or it's not. So I'm curious in your journey, and doesn't have to be in days, but No,
I think it's like, it has taken like 18 to 20 years.
Oh, wow. Since yes. Yeah, but that is beautiful, because we also need to grow into that part of ourselves and into, but that is beautiful, because now you're radiating so much beauty out of your mission. So it's inspirational to hear that. Yeah.
So, and then at that moment that I decided, like, okay, I want to do something, like I want to start my own business, you know, like, next to, I mean, in parallel with my job, with my part-time job. So then I had sessions with the career coach, and she had a very holistic approach. So then I started feeling like, okay, what do I want to share, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
So, and then I mean, I really felt like, okay, I want to share like the inner peace, the calmness, you know, meditation, and also with my combined with my energetic work.
Yes.
And then she asked me the question like, okay, do you want to work with children or with adults?
Mm-hmm.
So, and at that moment, my heart said like children.
Yes.
You know, at that time, my daughter was 8 years old. So she had issues. She has epilepsy. So she had issues with, yeah, I mean, she needed a very structured life.
Yeah.
And a lot of relaxation, you know, so not too busy surroundings.
Yeah.
So it was ideal to do that for her. So from my heart, it was like for her, but I mean, all children, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it also almost feels like she helped you also in her mission in a way, because I truly believe children truly also, my girls, they come in our lives to teach us something, or to open up things, because they're so much still attuned to their higher wisdom and to the universe. And so I love that, how that sparked for you, and how she awakened that part, that desire within you to beautiful.
Because she I mean, she really followed my journey, you know, or I followed hers. I don't know.
Yes.
So and then I started working out all my ideas, and then I started my hartjesmagie sessions in that year. And I started I'll just explain what kind of workshop it is. So it's a workshop to find inner peace, calmness, self-confidence, you know.
Yes, and it's called heart magic for the English people.
Yeah, heart magic. Sorry.
Heart magic. Yeah, no, it's fine. But it's beautiful.
Magic.
Yes. But it's because it's such a beautiful name. So yes.
Yeah. And so I started that, and well, at first I wanted to start small, so it was like a small group in a yoga center where I rented the space.
Yeah.
So we really had a small group to start with, and I thought, okay, just, you know, small baby steps, and in the future maybe I will work together with schools. So I had like a plan. Okay, within 6 months I'm going to work with schools.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks after I started, I called schools just to ask whether I could bring flyers to distribute with the children. And so at a certain moment I called, like in Bruges we have like 35 schools, and I called each school asking, okay, can I bring flyers? And at a certain moment there was a director of the school who answered the phone, and he said, what are you doing? And I said, okay, meditation for children. And he said, oh my God, I've been looking for someone like you for 3 months.
Yay.
So, and he said, he immediately said, okay, I want to make an appointment with you. Let's talk about it. I want to book you for after school time on Wednesday afternoon. And I said, oh my God, this is going quickly.
Yes, the upliftment starts. Yes.
Yeah. So then my journey started, and so it was like all the opportunities came on my path. So once I took the decision, okay, I'm now starting, it was like the universe sending me all kinds of opportunities. So I immediately started like with 4 schools, a cooperation with 4 schools, so one after the other in that same year.
Yeah.
And since then it has been flowing all the time. But it's not that it has always been flowing, but I've had my life lessons
of course, as we all do. Yeah. But I love what you shared. It's making a decision, and we can do that in our business, in our life, but in every part of our lives. The moment we truly make a decision. But how do you do that? Maybe you can share that with everyone tuning in. How do you make like this decision of saying, yes, this is what I want? Or do you make a paper where you write what you want, or do you speak it out, or is there a certain ritual you're doing, or what is
actually, how I make the decision, I meditate on it.
Yes.
That's important. So I mean, at that time, it was, first of all, it was like I felt a lot of fear, you know, at that time. So I mean, it was like a huge step for me.
Yeah.
But actually, when I look back at it, it wasn't that of a huge step, because I still had my I mean, I was still working in that company, so I had my fixed income, and then next to that, I did my heart's magic. So I mean, I still had that base. However, I felt fear. So, but certainly with the help of that coach, so I would certainly advise, if you have plans like that, you really need a coach to guide you through it, to guide you really through it. She didn't guide me through like all the practical things, you know, to start my company, but she guided me like in a holistic way to go and feel, what do I want to do, and how should I do it, and what are my next steps. And she really, like, she asked me to make a plan. So I really made a plan, like, okay, like a launch plan, or how you can call it. And I really made a plan, like, okay, by that time, so I started following courses, meditation courses for children, you know, by that time I will have finished my courses. By that time, I'm gonna create my website, you know, all these things.
But it takes alignment, and it creates focus, but also accountability. It's interesting. I just wrote an article about that last week, about accountability, because that's important as well. Accountability to yourself and to someone else, but also because it's not, you shared about feeling some scary or of this next step, but in a way it's huge, because we're so used to working in the 3D spaces and stepping up in this bigger way in front of children, but also schools. And it is a huge step to come out from your heart and share what you, because we're so been taught to share from the mind instead of what is truly within our heart. And the mission you started back then was sharing from the heart and standing in this space of vulnerability to awaken others to their beauty, to awaken children, or to support in meditation, whatever way. But that is so different than what we're used to. So a part of us will go into fight, flies, freeze. A part of us will feel scared because we're stretching ourselves. So I love, and I think indeed coaching also for us, each time our business grows, each time we are being called to step up in a greater version, it is beautiful to have someone. It can be a coach or a dear friend or someone else, but it's beautiful to have someone besides us reminding us, okay, it's only your safety barrier that is now coming up. It's not your reality, and you have the choice to overgrow that or to love it, so it can transform and you can grow into your next level. And I think it's beautiful that you also had divine guidance there in whatever form it was. But we need that in these huge transitions, because it's creating something from yourself. Really,
certainly.
It's your voice. You were that is what I feel. If when you share it like this, it was you really standing in your voice, standing in your truth, and with each step. And of course, if you now look back, it looks easy, but in that time space, that was your next step. So that
was my next step. And then at a certain moment, it was like it was going so much in a flow, you know, the heart's magic. And the more I was in a flow in the heart's magic, less it was flowing in the company life. You know, it was like during the heart's magic, I was feeling like this. And at the company, you can't see it, but I was feeling very low energy. And so at a certain moment, I had this narcissistic boss, and it was like he was draining me. It was like the energy was like flowing out of me when I was working during the time that I was there. And then, Heart's Magic kept me on a certain level, you know, so it really raised my energy. However, at a certain moment, I couldn't even cope anymore, you know, with the energy from Heart's Magic. I couldn't, it felt like I was fighting against the energy of that boss.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah. But in a way, when I hear your story, it was also a gift, because if you would have an amazing boss, you probably would have stayed there longer and not
Yeah, yeah,
be in
yeah.
the mission you are. So if you now sometimes, but also for people tuning into this, sometimes a challenge can also be a gift, because it's really asking us to look at, what do we want? What do I really from my heart want to bring out into the world, and what is contributing to that and what not? So by you feeling the energy of this and not feeling not the energy of this, it was a very clear message of the universe and of your higher self saying, Katy, do you hear the message? And you leaped, because you decided to go for your mission, and that's beautiful. Yeah.
So indeed, it was a gift after it. Now, I mean, when I look back at it, it was the most magnificent gift in my life. You know, I've had a burnout. So, I mean, I remember that at a certain moment, I was looking for all kinds of solutions, you know, to step out of that company. And I felt so much stuck. And at a certain moment, I mean, it was like, I was totally burned out. And but I could continue to, you know, I was at how do you call that? I got paid by the like the medical, you know, for medical insurance.
For the children, or for the
social security system, So
in every country it's different. I think most of
it's different. I mean, but as I was ill, I mean, the doctor at that institution, he said, like, okay, what you need is positive energy, so you can continue. While I was actually ill and burned out, I actually had to continue. So I had, like, I had the luck, or I mean, it was arranged
divinely
the divine guidance.
Yes,
that I came with a doctor who said, like, okay, you have to continue your heart's magic, even though you're that tired. You should continue. So I did,
because it gave you energy. It is your
it gave me positive energy. And so then at a certain moment I had an opportunity. So when I was feeling much better, I had an opportunity to step into a program of the government where I got subsidies to build my business. So that was,
but it's beautiful. But that's a beautiful thing in your country, that it works that way, and that you can. It is. But I truly believe that even if your country doesn't have those things, or I truly believe that in a way the universe will find ways. So it was the universe supporting you to feel safe, to make that step, and I think if we're really, and that's again coming back to what you shared before, the setting the intention, like you set the intention, this is what I want, and then in magical ways it comes on your path, and it doesn't matter how, but it's you trust it, and you leaped, and now you have a beautiful business where you are. How many schools are you teaching right now? It's immense. It's
the number of schools. But total, I mean, 6 schools. But I mean, I reach so many children, like per year. Sometimes I do the calculation, and then I think, like, oh my God, how many children am I? So, and that makes me feel emotional, because I want to reach the children, you know, I want to help them feel good about themselves, feel inner peace, you know. And so the number of children that I'm reaching per year is growing and growing and growing. So I do vacation camps, I do my holistic coaching of the children and youngsters also. And
parents, you also sometimes take parents in the journey, because in the end we are co-creation. I know that as well with my daughters. It's like it's not only me or only them. There is a co-creation between all of us. So it's healing every part of But it's such a beautiful. I follow Katy on Facebook, and because it's lovely to see your post and to see the smiley faces of these children that are, because I think it's beautiful, and I think that's also the message for the future, where I'm also passionate about, is like, when we empower our children to really stand in their truth and to stay in their truth and in their power and in their light, imagine how the world looks like. Because a lot of us, also me, the healing work I have been doing the last couple of years, it's me losing parts of myself and now asking these parts back. But what if we as a child would have not pushed these parts of us away, would have stand in our light, in our magnificence, in our uniqueness, and just be who we were? that would have taken and it's beautiful because we are all in our own journey and we all have our soul has chosen a path. So it's beautiful. But I think that's the message. And that is so beautiful that you're contributing to that. It's like, to help children. Yeah.
It's actually, when I look at it like that. So, I mean, I do, so my workshops are more kind of, it's a mixture between like 3D, you know, like, what we do is like we do some creative things, you know, during my workshops, so that's more kind of 3D. However, I blend holistic tricks in it, you know, so I learned them. So during my coaching or during the parent-children workshops, I actually learned them how to lose, how to, I mean, release emotions and heavy emotions, how to release arousal, you know, feeling overwhelmed, how to increase self-confidence. And I do that indeed with the parents. So during my coaching and during my Powerful Kids program, I do that together with the parents, because in the past, like until a year ago, I didn't do parent-child coaching together.
No.
And what I noticed was the children who were really motivated, they did. I mean, they progressed very well, you know. However, the parents weren't always supporting them in that, or weren't doing the exercises themselves.
Yeah.
Because I didn't, I didn't teach them the exact, you know. And then I thought, okay, I have to change this, and I have to, so, and then, but
it's also creating the safe environment again for the child to go back to. So you can awaken the child, but if it then goes back into an environment that is not safe, or that is constantly controlling, then it's still difficult, especially for a young child that finds his parents. We as an adult can have different, we can stand in our power and make our own decisions, but when for a child it's different. But it's beautiful. And I think because you're sharing like the things you're sharing, that for me, that needs to be just part of the natural curriculum of schools, to learn about your emotions, to learn about releasing stress and standing in your light and speaking from your truth and being seen and heard. I think that is the essence of what needs to be taught, instead of only knowledge and in the mind. And because it's all now what most of us are doing as an adult is decluttering, is peeling away all these layers to come back to our essence. And so it's beautiful. But for parents listening, or for just grandparents or whoever, do you have like an inspirational tip to support their children, or to
well, certainly listen,
and themselves, of course, their inner child as well.
So first of all, certainly listen to your child, because our children have so much inner wisdom. Even, I mean, they are so highly, they're in such high frequencies. They're all in higher frequencies than us adults. So they're very much aligned with their soul, with their higher selves. And so the words that they are expressing are words from the universe, you know, is wisdom from the universe, or from their soul to the parents. So they really, like, they're showing, you know, I mean, I hear so many parents talking about, my child has had that label, ADHD. I think that's, in English, it's the same word.
Yes.
Or autism, or, several labels. However, these children, they shouldn't be labeled. It's just, they are, they get so much wisdom. They have such a beautiful alignment with source. However, in the 3D world on Earth, you know, they can't, they can't always cope with the structure, with the have-tos. You know, they have to go to school, they have to do their homework, they have to do this, they have to do these hobbies, or they all have like have-tos. And at a certain moment, it's just too much for these children. So
it would be too much for us as an adult as well. You sometimes see the pressure that has been put on instead of being, because also we as adults we're going back to a state of being, but why aren't we allowing our children to be? Yeah, so I think it's beautiful.
Indeed.
Because my girls, as you know, are now 6 and 7, but it's such amazing what the things they share, the beautiful drawings they make with magical things on it. They have so much wisdom, but it's also allowing, and I think but it's also allowing them to have their expression, to have their freedom of speaking their truth, of being angry, being joyful, being excited, being too much. It's like, let them be too much, because that is their life force energy. That is their, So I love that you're, because that's and then we're almost going to the place of completion, but I love what you're sharing as well. Like you're supporting a lot of children right now, but the ripple effect of that, because these children, they become adults, they become the future. And it's like, we need to understand that we can push our children till the edge, but it doesn't help. It's like letting them be who they are. And by that, we create a different future. So it ripples out much more than even what happens now, because you give them these beautiful things. And so it's beautiful. If there was one thing you would share, like from your own journey or from what you're teaching, what would be the gift or the tip or the advice, or
just you mean to the in general
to everyone listening? You can whatever.
Just follow your heart. I mean, just trust on your intuition, follow your heart, because I mean, when I look back, I'm now 47 years old.
I know that when we're older,
when I look back at my journey, I mean, I've had so many life lessons, making clear that I wasn't fitting in this corporate world, making clear that I needed to do something so much bigger, not bigger, in these companies, it all seems big, but not big on that scale, bigger, like helping humanity, helping the children, helping adults,
Yes.
So, and I mean, follow your heart, even though it feels scary, to step out of certain functions, certain corporate world, and just to follow your heart. If you have like beautiful gifts that you can share with people, why not doing that,
and start. And even if like that's also beautiful about the story you told, like you also did it in the evening, but by that because probably if you wouldn't have done that, you would already go down the energy lane much more. So it supported you to balance yourself. And most of the time, all the time, the things we're here to bring are things that bring us joy, are things that excite us, are things that lift us up. And it doesn't mean we need to do that in a business, but it can already start by sharing that in your community, in your free time, but just doing that lifts your spirit and opens things up. Because that is also, that's what I love about your journey. And it's like the more we stand in our light, the more beautiful things come on our path, but they most of the time are not things we could think of with our mind. It is just the magic of the universe revealing itself by us making a choice. So that's beautiful.
Indeed. So it's really okay, if you would have told me on my 18 years old, like you're gonna be that far on your 47, I mean, I would have said, no, that's not my journey.
No.
With the more 3D mindset.
Yes.
But
you leaped and you've created this beautiful thing. So if you want to find out more about Katie or how you can work with her, I have put all the details below this video or audio, whatever way you're watching and tuning into this. So feel free to connect and check out her beautiful Facebook images. I will share the link as well. Beautiful of her work with children and all the magic you're putting out into the world. So thank you for sharing this sacred space. And thank you everyone for tuning in. And for now, much love, and see you in the next Soul Love podcast. Bye.
Okay, thank you very much, Kim.
Yes,
and
you're so welcome.
See you soon.
Yes, much love. Bye.
Bye. Much love.
Thank you for joining this episode of Soul Love. If you want to find out more about what we do, you can find it below. And I'll see you in the next episode. Much love.